Hey everyone, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more, and this is a review for Star Wars Agent of the Empire series. This would be one of the last of the EU titles before it discontinued, and only had 10 issues with it in total for the series. Now, when this series was announced and I saw the covers for this, I was not remotely interested and thought it would be super generic and actively avoided the series. But after reading this series and finding out John Ostrander is the creator of it, I must eat my words, and I was totally wrong about it. This is why you don't judge a book by its cover. Coming out from 2011 to 2013 and set between 3 BBY and 0 BBY, this series is essentially a Star Wars James Bond adventure starring Jan Cross, or the spelling is Jahan Cross. It's kind of weird how it is, but I'm just going to say Cross. An agent of the Empire who engages in undercover missions and, very much like James Bond, getting the girls and completing his objectives as an agent no matter what. We start with Volume 1, Iron Eclipse, coming out from 2011 to 2012, and set 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, drawn by Stephanie Rue and Stephanie Crate, and not sure if these are different artists or the same person, it's not really clear. The Galactic Empire maintains peace and order in a galaxy rife with chaos and corruption, always quick to deal with treachery or hints of intrigue. The Emperor has many ways to enforce his will. Darth Vader is the Emperor's face of fear whose mere presence can quell an uprising. The Stormtrooper legions and fleets of Star Destroyers are the Emperor's hammer for when the application of force is necessary. But a finer tool is required when situations call for delicacy, or even for the hand of power to go undetected. In those cases, the Emperor calls for a scalpel. Imperial Agent Jan Cross. So this volume is heavily connected to the Stark Hyperspace War. If you've never read that, you'll be completely lost here. So read that and you'll see some cool connections between that story and here. I keep forgetting that the Stark Hyperspace War was created because there was a discrepancy with the Phantom Menace movie scrapbook of all things, where Plo Koon was described as a veteran of the Hyperspace Wars, and there was only one great hyperspace war at the time, one hyperspace war, from 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, which made no sense considering you'd have to be an elite, like a god-tier Jedi just to survive all those crazy events. So the Stark Hyperspace War story was created from there. Anyway, let's talk more about the Iron Eclipse without spoiling too much. So Cross is sent to Corporate Sector, formerly owned by Stark of the Commerce Guild, and vanished, and is now inherited by his heirs, and there are tensions within that sector. There's a conspiracy and tensions between the heirs, and Cross has to solve it. We also have Han and Chewie making a heavy appearance and helping Cross along the way, and this didn't feel forced with Han and Chewie. It felt right, I always feel annoyed when you see the original trilogy cast forced into these stories, and this one I had no problem with. This was a great start to the series and a breath of fresh air, and I really enjoyed it. So I gotta give Volume 1 a 4 out of 5, and a strong start to the series. Then there is Volume 2, Hard Targets, and this is drawn by David Fabry this time, and this is set also 3 BBY, and right after the Iron Eclipse storyline. When the current Count Dooku is assassinated, not to be confused with the other Count Dooku, and Boba Fett is framed for the murder, Imperial Agent Jan Cross is assigned to make sure the ramifications favor the Empire. The Lords of Serrano meet to elect a regent to care for the Count's young heir until the boy is of age, and Agent Cross is there to sway the vote. But as he learns disturbing truths behind the assassination and the likely fate of the boy, Cross finds himself ready to turn his back on his mission and put his life on the line to protect the young Count. And when a couple of lethal ladies and an angry Boba Fett become involved, Cross has to get lethally creative. So I'll say it right away, this story is not nearly as good as Volume 1 and is all over the place and quite bad. So it starts with Cross getting into confrontation with Boba Fett, then it switches to Cross attending an event in Alderaan. So the past event with Boba Fett was actually a future event, then it switches to the past, and Cross attends the event in Alderaan. It's so confusing how they do that. It made no sense to me, and it just threw me off completely. And literally no point in switching to that. Just go into the past storyline and then just get right into it. It just felt weird and out of place for me. So right away, that just didn't feel good. And then it goes into the actual story, and I was not really impressed whatsoever. It's not a bad story, but I just didn't really like it. There's just no fun characters in a story like this in the first book, and timeline is weird with this one. And it's a huge drop off from the first volume. And also a major sin unforgivable is making Boba look like a complete moron who can't think for himself is a big no-no for me. So I'll give it a 2 out of 5. And after factoring the scores of each volume and averaging all together, I gotta give the Agent of the Empire series a... I do wish there was a third volume, but unfortunately we never got that. After the EU was discontinued in 2013, the series had to abruptly stop after 10 issues, and would have been nice to see another volume for sure. Volume 2 didn't end with a cliffhanger by any means, but just ended. It nicely wrapped each volume book into its own self-contained stories, but it wouldn't hurt to do more volumes. Interestingly, a creator named Kevin Scott, who I've never really heard of, had expressed interest in writing a continuation of the series if Star Wars Legends continuity was still active, but unfortunately that never happened. So the next Star Wars comic reviews I have planned are Chewbacca and Union. We'll see how those go down the road this year. So don't forget to like this video, comment down below, tell me what you think of Agent of the Empire. If you've read that series, let me know in the comment section. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know in the comment section. And subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.